In our today's class, we shall discuss about the term energy density of a capacitor, and also we discuss about the dielectric constant. That means if we introduce one dielectric medium between the two plates of the capacitor, if I introduce the dielectric medium, then what will be the effect on the capacitance after introducing the dielectric between the plates? That also we study in our today's discussion. First, let us know about what is meant by energy density. Energy density of a capacitor. Now, we know that suppose if I consider two plates, parallel plates of a capacitor, initially the charge on each plate is 0. That means Q equal to 0. When Q equal to 0, then the electric field between the two plates is also equal to 0. Thereby, potential difference between the two plates is also equal to 0. Suppose if I want to charge this plate positively, then what is the process? We transfer the charge, say for example, from plate 2 to plate 1. I want to charge this plate positively, whereas this plate negatively. All that I need to do is transfer the positive charge from plate 2 to plate 1. But while transferring the charge from this plate to this plate, some work should be done. So whatever work we do in transferring the charge from plate 2 to plate 1 to charge both the plates, that will be stored. That will be stored as electric potential energy in the space between the two plates. Okay. Initially, while transferring the charge, first positive charge, no need to do any work, because before transferring the charge, no electric field, this is uncharged, Q equal to 0. Before bringing this, charge on the plate 1 also on the plate 2 is equal to 0. So therefore, while bringing the first charge from plate 2 to plate 1, no work is to be done. Work done is equal to 0. But when once you transfer the charge from plate 2 to plate 1, and if we make this charge to deposit on this plate, now an electric field is said to be set up between the two plates from the plate 1 to plate 2. So this is the direction of electric field. Now again, if I want to charge this plate 1 further positively, then what is the process to be followed? Again, keep shifting the positive charge from plate 2 to plate 1. So transfer the charge bit by bit, that means in small quantities. When you transfer the first positive charge from plate 2 to plate 1, now plate 2 becomes negative by losing one positive charge. Now to transfer the second positive charge from plate 2 to plate 1, against this electric field, some work should be done. In this case, work done is not equal to 0. So certainly work should be done in transferring the second charge from plate 2 to plate 1. So after transferring this charge, again this plate gains one negative charge. That means by losing positive charge, each time the plate 2 goes on getting negatively charged. So like this, we transfer the charge from plate 2 to plate 1 like this. So after charging the plate 1 to a value plus Q, then what will be the charge on the plate 2? charge on the plate 2 will be minus q. Okay. Now the two plates are said to be charged, one positively and another negatively but equally. If this is charged to 5 microcoulomb, whereas this will be charged to minus 5 microcoulomb. So this is the process of charging a capacitor. But while transferring the charge, positive charge from plate 2 to plate 1, the total amount of work done will be stored in the space between the two plates as electric potential energy, which is given by the equation U equal to half into C into V square. Now, what is V? V is the potential difference between the two plates. After charging the plates, V becomes the potential difference and E becomes the electric field between the plates. So, C is the capacitance of the capacitor. Here, there is one more term. What is the term means? Energy density. Then what is meant by energy density? See, if I consider unit volume space between the two plates, this is unit volume, means 1 meter cube space, 1 meter cube is the volume. In this unit volume space, what is the amount of energy that is stored? What amount of energy is stored? That is known as energy density. Okay, and mathematically it is given by UD, U for energy and D for density. If U is the energy stored in the entire capacitor while charging, if this is the amount of energy which is stored, then that energy divided by volume, I consider volume as V. See, don't get confused with this V and also this V. So this represents the volume, whereas this represents the electric potential difference between the two plates. Now let us derive an expression for this energy density. So consider as usually a parallel plate capacitor whose total energy is given by half into C into V square, where C is the capacitance of the capacitor and V is the potential difference between the two plates of the capacitor. So C is the capacitance of the capacitor and V is potential difference between the two plates of the capacitor. Okay. Now, what I do means I make the substitution to C and as well as V. First, let us make the substitution to V. Now, this equation becomes now U equal to half C. For V, I can substitute Q by C. Square it because V square is there. So, what the substitution made to V? So, let us quote this because V equal to Q by C. Okay. Square this and simplify this. This is half C Q square divided by C square. So, 1 C and C gets cancelled. U will be equal to half Q square divided by C. Now, let us proceed ahead. Now, I make the substitution to Q and as well as to C. But what is Q? I can make use of either small q or capital Q. So, since I am using small q, I represent the charge on this plate as plus q and this as minus q. I replace capital letter by small letters. Q equal to sigma into A. What does it represent? It represents the surface charge density. And what is A? A is the area of each plate. Also, what is C? For parallel plate capacitor, expression for the capacitance is given by C equal to A epsilon naught by D. So, where sigma is known as surface charge density and A is the area of each plate. Okay, so A is the area of each plate. Then on the plate 1, the surface charge density is plus sigma. On this plate, it is minus sigma. Then what is D? D is the distance of separation. Distance of separation between the plates. So between the two plates, let the distance of separation be D. If I substitute these two in this equation, what happens to this equation now? Let us call this as equation 1 now. So therefore, equation 1 becomes U equal to, okay, of Q square. What is Q? Sigma into A. Q square is there. So I square and write sigma square A square divided by. So what is now? C. Substitute for C. I substituted for Q as sigma into A. Now I substitute for C as A epsilon naught by D. So A epsilon naught divided by D. Okay. Then this is equal to of sigma square. 1A and A gets cancelled. So A is left. This D goes to numerator. So A into D divided by, see, A and A, 1A gets cancelled. D is shifted to the numerator. So what is left in the denominator? Epsilon naught is left. Okay. Then once again here I make one substitution. What that substitution means? But sigma is equal to E into epsilon naught, because we know that electric field between the two plates is given by, let us quote that also, because E equal to sigma divided by epsilon naught. Field between the two plates is given by this equation. So if you cross multiply this, sigma will be equal to E into epsilon naught, but square is there. So let us substitute that in the next stage. This becomes now U equal to of sigma square, means E square epsilon naught square. E square epsilon naught square A into D. So for A into D, what I do means I write that as V, volume, divided by epsilon naught. Cancel of 1 epsilon naught and 1 epsilon naught. So what is the substitution made here? So where V equal to area of each plate multiplied by the distance of separation between the two plates is nothing but the volume of the capacitor, total volume of the capacitor. Okay. So you just take this entire space, volume of the space between the two plates, that's nothing but V. Then what do we get now? So we get the equation like this. So we cancelled 1 epsilon naught. What is left now? Of E square, okay, epsilon naught V. This is nothing but the energy stored between the two plates of the capacitor when the capacitor is charged to Q coulombs. What's the difference between this equation and this equation? This is the energy stored in terms of capacitance and potential. This is the energy stored in terms of electric field and as well as volume of the capacitor. So this equation is nothing but other form of this equation. Okay, both are energy, both represents the energy equation, but the physical parameters that appears in these two equations are different. Physical quantity is same, energy, but the different parameters arises in these two equations. But by definition, what is energy density? By definition, comma, energy density is given by UD equal to energy per unit volume. So, if I substitute for the energy, then what do I get? What is energy? Of E square epsilon naught V divided by V. For U, I substituted this equation and V I write as it is now. V and V gets cancelled, then UD equal to of E square epsilon naught. So, this is the expression for the energy density of a parallel plate capacitor. Now, we shall derive an expression for the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor when a dielectric medium is introduced between the two plates. We already know the expression for the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor when free space is considered between the two plates. Free space means either air or vacuum. Let D be the distance of separation between the two plates and let this plate be charged to plus Q coulomb and this be to minus Q coulomb. So, then let A be the area of each plate. Then what's the medium means? I can choose free space, that means either I can choose air or vacuum, but I choose vacuum. So, vacuum exists between the two plates. So, in that way I consider. Now, what is the expression for the capacitance? When no dielectric, that means when no material medium is introduced, the expression for the capacitance is given by C equal to A epsilon naught by D. Okay. Now, let us once again arrive at this equation. How? By considering the electric field. Let E naught be the electric field between the two plates, which is always from positively charged plate to negatively charged plate. So, for vacuum, I write like this: C naught as the capacitance equal to, let us consider first E naught, electric field between the two plates, as equal to V naught by D. How do you consider this equation? We derived an expression for this, that is E equal to minus delta V by delta L. So, this is the base equation to write like this: electric field is nothing but potential divided by distance of separation. What is the potential difference between the two plates? It is nothing but potential difference between the two plates is taken as V naught. Okay. Divided by distance of separation between the two plates is D. So, using this equation, I can write like this. Then, we also know one expression for the electric field in terms of surface density of charge. On this plate, if plus sigma is the surface density of charge, then on this plate it will be minus sigma. So, I write for E naught as equal to sigma divided by epsilon naught. So, remember, this is E naught and this is epsilon naught, equal to V by D. Okay. Now, cross multiply, find out V naught now. V naught is equal to sigma into D divided by epsilon naught. But what is sigma? Here we substituted for E naught as equal to sigma divided by epsilon naught. Then what is sigma? Sigma is given by surface charge density, which is given by Q into Q divided by A or Q into A. We know that surface charge density is given by Q by A. So therefore Q equal to sigma into A. Therefore what I can write means for sigma Q divided by A, then D divided by epsilon naught I write as it is. So this is for V naught. But we know one expression for the capacitance. What the expression for the capacitance? The expression for the capacitance, by definition, capacitance is given by C equal to ratio of the charge to the potential difference. Charge on either plate to the potential difference between the two plate. What is the charge on either plate? Q. Potential difference between the two plate is V naught. But I am considering the capacitance when vacuum exists between the two plates. Therefore, I write this as C naught. Understand? Now, if I substitute for V naught using this equation, then what do I get? I get this equation as equal to for Q. For Q, I written Q as it is divided by, for V naught, I write this as Q D divided by A into epsilon naught. Q and Q gets cancelled, whereas this A epsilon naught goes to numerator. Then what do we get? C naught is equal to A epsilon naught divided by D. See, this is the expression for the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor when vacuum is chosen between the two plates instead of dielectric medium. So that is what I wrote initially. We can arrive at this equation like this. Now, in the space between the two plates, I introduce one dielectric slab consisting of either polar molecules or non-polar molecules. In a molecule, if positive and negative charge gets displaced slightly, then we call this as polar molecule. In a molecule, if positive charge and negative charge coincide with each other, we call that as non-polar molecule. Now you introduce a dielectric in the space between the two plates completely. We must introduce the dielectric in such a way that this dielectric should fill completely the space between the two plates. Right from ear to ear, this dielectric should get packed. So that is how we have to introduce the dielectric. And this dielectric may contain the molecule like this, that means non-polar, or this dielectric may contain polar molecule like this. But when we introduce the dielectric, what happens? The electric field E produced between the two plates. What is the electric field? Between the two plates, the electric field is taken as E. That electric field now, what it does? It is going to polarize the molecule of this dielectric. That means, polarization means the alignment of all the dipoles in the direction of electric field. Look here, this is one dipole, this is one dipole. All dipoles are arranged in the direction of electric field like this. So if arrangement of dipoles takes place all along electric field direction, we call that as electric polarization or polarization of dielectric. And also we can notice one more thing. What does that means? A layer of negative charge is produced towards the positively charged plate and a layer of positive charge appears towards the negatively charged plate. This is because of polarization of dielectric. And these charges are known as, that means the charges negative, 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 negative. So positive, positive, positive. These charges are known as induced charges. Layer of negative charges, layer of positive charges known as induced charges. So What is the surface density of charge of the induced negative charge? Minus sigma p. What is the surface density of charge of the induced positive charges? It is plus sigma p. So if I consider minus sigma p as the surface density of induced negative charge and plus sigma p as the surface charge density of induced positive charges, then once again I can write like this. This is after introducing the dielectric slab. What happens now? What's the electric field now? Let EP be the electric field. What is this EP? Look here. Now, inside the dielectric, one more electric field is set up because of polarized charges. What about these charges? This positive charge is very close to the negative charge. This positive charge is very close to the negative charge. Therefore, these two charges get neutralized. Again, these two charges get neutralized. A layer of negative charge towards the positively charged plate and a layer of positive charge towards the negatively charged plate are known as induced charges or polarized charges. These polarized charges will set up their own electric field. I represent that electric field as EP. So, electric field set up inside the dielectric due to polarized charges is given by EP equal to sigma p divided by epsilon naught. Sigma p is nothing but the surface density of charge due to polarized charges. Remember, all positive charge will be in the direction of electric field. Negative charge will be opposite to the electric field. Next, what's the potential difference now between the two plates? Net field between the plates is given by E equal to E minus E naught minus EP. What is E naught? E naught is the electric field between the two plates when there is no dielectric, only when vacuum is considered. Whereas EP is the electric field produced due to polarized charges, and the direction of that electric field is from layer of induced positive charge towards layer of induced negative charges. Because it is quite natural, the direction of electric field will be always from positive charge to negative charge. Now what happens? This field is due to the charges on the plate, whereas this field is due to induced charges or polarized charges. These two fields are opposite, but they are not equal. So therefore, inside the dielectric between the two plates, the net field is going to decrease. That's why net field E equal to E naught minus EP. So if I write E naught as the electric field due to the charged plates and EP as the electric field due to the induced charges, then the net field inside the dielectric reduces. We know that E naught is given by, I can write this as sigma divided by E naught is divided by written as sigma divided by epsilon naught. What is EP? Sigma p divided by epsilon naught. Okay, just I have substituted for E naught and as well as for EP. E naught equal to sigma divided by epsilon naught. Sigma divided by epsilon naught. Then EP is equal to sigma p divided by epsilon naught. Sigma p divided by epsilon naught. Now, this is equal to, remove epsilon naught as a common factor. So, it becomes sigma minus sigma p divided by epsilon naught. Okay. So, this is the net field. But for linear dielectrics, what are linear dielectrics? So, dipole moment P should be proportional to field strength. Then, all dipoles should align in the direction of electric field. Okay. So, if a substance possesses these two characteristic features, then we call that substance as linear dielectric. So, for linear dielectric, it is found that sigma minus sigma p proportional to sigma itself. Understand? So, the difference of charge density can be taken as proportional to sigma only for linear dielectrics. Then, this becomes sigma minus sigma p. I introduce one constant. What that constant means? 1 by k is the constant into sigma, which is equal to sigma divided by k. Okay. What is this k called as? K is known as dielectric constant. Dielectric constant of the dielectric. Okay. Now, what happens to this equation? Equation becomes E equal to, for sigma minus sigma p, I can substitute sigma by k in this equation. So, sigma minus sigma p can be written as sigma by k into 1 divided by epsilon naught. I written 1 divided by epsilon naught as it is. For this, I substitute sigma by k. So, this is the net electric field that exists inside the dielectric as a result of two electric field. One electric field is due to the charges on the plate, and this electric field is due to the polarized charges of the dielectric. Now, let us consider the potential difference between the two plates. What is the potential difference? Potential difference between the plates. It is given by V equal to E into D. Once again, what is the base to this equation? You know that E equal to minus delta V by delta L, neglecting negative sign. We consider only the magnitude. Potential difference divided by distance of separation. What is the potential difference between the two plates? The potential difference between the two plates is taken as V, and the distance of separation between the two plates is taken as D. Remember, this distance of separation is also the thickness of the dielectric slab. Whatever distance that exists between the two plates, so that should be the thickness of the dielectric. I already told you that there should not be any air space after introducing the dielectric. No space must be left between the two plates. Like that, it should be completely filled or packed by means of dielectric. So, using this equation, I am able to write like this. Now, let us substitute for E. What is E now? Sigma by K into 1 divided by epsilon naught into D. So, this is the potential difference. Now, what is the capacitance of this capacitor after dielectric slab is introduced? Before introducing the dielectric, the capacitance is this. Let us call this as equation 1. When no dielectric is filled between the two plates, the capacitance of the capacitor is taken as C naught equal to A epsilon by D. After introducing the dielectric, the capacitance is C. So, capacitance C is given by, what is the formula? capacitance is given by Q divided by V by definition. Let us substitute for Q and also substitute for V. What I can substitute for Q? I can substitute for Q as equal to sigma into A. What is sigma? Surface charge density of the plate. Remember, there are two sigmas here. One is only sigma and other one is sigma P. This is surface charge density of the polarized charges. Then this is surface charge density of the charges on the plate. So sigma A divided by, for V I can substitute this. So sigma into D is sigma D divided by. Okay. Then sigma into D divided by K into epsilon naught. K into epsilon naught. Sigma and sigma gets cancelled. This goes to the numerator. So what happens to this equation now? C equal to now A K into epsilon naught divided by D. Okay. This is the expression for the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor when dielectric is introduced. So this is the expression for the capacitance of a capacitor when dielectric is introduced. Dielectric is introduced. Okay. Now I call this as equation 2. But here for K into epsilon naught I can write one more thing. But K into epsilon naught can be written as epsilon. What is epsilon naught? Absolute permittivity of free space. Free space means either air or vacuum. Epsilon, absolute permittivity of the medium that is introduced. What's the medium? Dielectric. Okay. So this is dielectric constant, absolute permittivity of free space, then absolute permittivity of the material. Material means dielectric. But for vacuum, look here, but for vacuum, it is found that K equal to 1. K equal to 1. So if that's the case, then what happens to this equation? This equation becomes now 1 into epsilon naught into equal to epsilon. That means epsilon naught equal to epsilon. It can be shown for vacuum that epsilon naught equal to epsilon. Remember this. Okay, now let us divide equation 2 with equation 1. 2 by 1. So that is, which implies that C divided by C naught equal to C is given by A into K into epsilon naught divided by D divided by what is C naught? C naught is A epsilon naught divided by D. Cancel of the term. A gets cancelled, epsilon naught get cancelled, D and D get cancelled. What is left? C by C naught equal to K. Okay. So this is the expression for the dielectric constant of the dielectric introduced between the two plates. Then how do you define this dielectric constant? It is defined as the factor in which capacitance of a capacitor increases from its vacuum value after inserting dielectric. This is the definition of the dielectric constant. What does it mean? It means that when no dielectric is introduced, the capacitance is C naught. When the dielectric is introduced, then capacitance of the same capacitor is taken as C. But this capacitance is found to be greater than this capacitance. So after introducing the dielectric, the capacitance increases, but by what factor it increases? What factor means how much it increases from the capacitance value when vacuum is chosen between the two plates. So that's the meaning of this, defined as the factor in which capacitance of a capacitor increases. When it increases above the capacitance value from vacuum only after introducing the dielectric substance. Now let us study the difference between the series combination of capacitors and parallel combination of capacitors. Suppose if I consider certain number of capacitors connected in series like this, then also capacitors connected in parallel like this, either 2 capacitor, 3 capacitor or any number of capacitor. Then what are the difference between these two combinations? C1, C2, C3 are the capacitances. Here C1, C2, C3 are the capacitances. The combination is connected between the 2 points A and B. Here also the entire combination is connected between the 2 points A and B. So here the first thing is, we know that in case of series combination, charge on each capacitor is same, okay, whereas potential difference across each capacitor is different. That means V1 is the potential difference across first capacitor, V2 across second and V3 across third capacitor. Charge on this plate is plus Q, minus Q, plus Q, minus Q, plus Q, minus Q. So here charge remains to be same on each capacitor, whereas but potential difference across each is different. Okay, look here, it varies V1, V2, V3. Coming to this parallel combination, here charge on each capacitor is different. Capacitor is different, okay, whereas but potential difference across each is same. Look here, if Q is the total charge, here it splits into 3 parts. So 1, Q1, Q2, Q3. So this plate gets charged to Q1 coulomb and this minus Q1. So both the plates acquire opposite charges but of equal magnitude, whereas this plate acquires a charge plus Q2 and this minus Q2 and this plus Q3 and this plate minus Q3. So charge on each capacitor is different, Q1, Q2, Q3. Potential difference across each is same. If the 2 points of the combination is connected to a battery or a voltage source of potential difference V, then potential difference across the first capacitor is V, even across the plates of second capacitor it is V, across the plate of first capacitor also it is V. So this is one difference. Then secondly, here what is the total potential difference? Total potential difference is given by V equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Potential gets added up because the 2 points A and B can be connected to the terminals of the battery whose potential difference is V. So the total potential difference V equal to sum of the potential difference across each capacitor. Suppose if V equal to 10 volt, then V1, V2, V3, if I add all three potential difference, it turns out to be equal to 10 volt. So that's the meaning of this. Therefore, we call this series combination as potential divider circuit, because it divides the total potential into different potentials depending upon the number of capacitors. Here, total charge is given by Q equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. Okay. So, hence it is called as charge divider circuit. Charge divider circuit. Suppose if you give a charge of, let us say, 10 microcoulomb, it may get divided unequally. This may have 5 microcoulomb, this may have 1 microcoulomb, this may have 4 microcoulomb. But total charge of all the three will be equal to 10 microcoulomb. That is why it is called as charge divider circuit. Then, effective capacitance of series combination is given by, effective capacitance is given by 1 over Cs equal to 1 over C1 plus 1 over C2 plus 1 over C3. Whereas in case of parallel combination, effective capacitance is given by Cp equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. Okay. How do you generalize? Reciprocal of effective capacitance of series combination is equal to plus sign are there. So, reciprocal of effective capacitance of series combination is equal to sum of reciprocal of individual capacitances. Whereas here, effective capacitance, no reciprocal here. Effective capacitance of the parallel combination is equal to sum of the individual capacitances. So, this is how we generalize both. Then, what will be the total capacitance when all capacitance value are same? That means, if C1 equal to C2 equal to C3 equal to C, then effective capacitance of the series combination is given by Cs equal to C by N, where N refers to number of capacitors connected in the combination, and C is the value of each capacitance which is considered to be same. If this is a 5 microfarad, this is also 5 microfarad, this will be also 5 microfarad, then in such a case the effective capacitance is written like this. Here once again, if all the capacitance are of same value, that means if C1 equal to C2 equal to C3 equal to C, then effective capacitance is given by Cp equal to N into C. N refers to number of capacitor and C refers to capacitance of each capacitor. Then, effective capacitance in series combination is found to be lesser than the least. That means Cs is lesser than the least. What does it mean? Suppose if C1 is of 5 microfarad, if C2 is of 4 microfarad, if C3 is of 1 microfarad, if you find the capacitance of the entire series combination using the formula 1 over Cs equal to 1 over C1, C1 means 5, plus 1 over C2, C2 means 4, plus 1 over C3, C3 means 1. If you simplify and if you find the effective capacitance, Cs is found to be lesser than the least, which is the least value, 1 microfarad. Now Cs is found to be less than 1 microfarad. So that is the meaning of this sentence. In this case, suppose let us consider the same values. C1 5 microfarad, C2 4 microfarad, C3 1 microfarad. So, effective capacitance Cp is greater than the greatest. Greater than the greatest. Okay? Then, what does it mean? Find the effective capacitance of parallel combination for these values. C1 5 microfarad, C2 4 microfarad, C3 1 microfarad. Use the formula Cp equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. C1 is 5 plus C2 is 4 plus C3 is 1. That means which is equal to 10 microfarad. That means Cp is found to be greater than the greatest. Which is the greatest here? So this is considered to be greatest. And this is considered to be the least value of capacitance. In this case, it is lesser than the least. Whereas in case of parallel combination, Cp is found to be greater than the greatest. That means it will be greater than 5 microfarad. You add this 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 1, 10. Okay. So, 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 1, 10. That means Cp, we got Cp as equal to 10 microfarad, which is greater than the greatest. Greatest is 5 microfarad. So, Cp greater than the greatest, which is the greatest means C3. So, these are the differences between the series combination of capacitors and parallel combination of capacitors. That completes this second chapter of volume 1. In the next class, we shall enter into the third chapter, that's nothing but current electricity. Thank you.